Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Well, I sure hope you can hear me because I can't see anything. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight. Although, am I even here? Okay, it looks like, everything looks like it's working now. Anyway, hi, y'all. Happy Friday. It's Morning Night Live on the 23rd of August, 2024. And already, Gunfox on the move. Gunfox dropping a couple Hamiltons in the tip jar. That makes you are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Gunfox. Dropping a couple Hamiltons and articles accompanying them. Oh, the left is one of the messages. And then BBC goes hard for Harris. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. No, wait. You didn't mean that. Anyway. How you all doing? I don't have my coffee with me, so I'm a little discombobulated, to be honest with you. I am just going to have to figure that out. But I am glad to see you all here. There's a bunch of people in the chat. Let's say hi and get it going because we got a lot going on with the new nominee for the Democratic Party for president giving speeches and shit. And lots of stuff going on. The headliner here, old Judy Woodruff trying to make up some stuff. And it's also Q&A day. So you see up at the top, there's a little Q&A prompt up there. If you want to ask a question for the Q&A section today, drop a question up in that and we'll get it going. Looks like AD's been busy already. And and then wait a minute. Okay. I see. And then other people are asking questions. So anyway, let's get it started. Like what do you call them? Black Eyed Peas, that group's called, that sings that song. Let's get it started. Let's get started here. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Kamala had her speech last night and so on and so forth. I'm sorry. I was going to say hi to everybody. First in the chat today. Now this was something. I was like, damn, y'all, you was quick on the draw, Mr. Somnambul Nation gets the bell. Congratulations. You beat 8. Excuse me. You beat AD by a nanosecond. Avocado Stabby's in the house, of course. Also, good morning to JB, Trippy Liberty. What's up, my brother? Good morning, Mike Savage. Blarg. Good morning, Ravon Harris. And Judaphine's here. Gunfox61, the awesome administrator of the P-Dog Knight Discord server. Lord Stanhope is here. Today is the best day of the convention when the engineers disconnect the electronics and break down the stages while the custodians sweep up. Yeah, they got to clean up the mess. I don't know if they can. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. Tyler F's in the house. Aaron Meredith. Let's see. A lot of people here. Got Green Badger Outdoors. Oh, that's everybody. So there you go. Oh, and Anna Lynn's here. So good to see y'all. 23 people already. 7 likes. Hit that like button. Share the stream. Like, let's see. Somebody's done it already, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a few in the notifications there. What'd I do? Did I knock out Kobe? Oh, I did. Damn. Okay, let me fix that. That's unfortunate. I usually put an extra X feed up here so that I can go to notifications. So let's go back to the notifications. Thank you to Somnambul Nation, treating out the show. Greatly appreciated. And that's all? Wow. Come on, y'all. Let's fix that. Holy crap. Here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you something to retweet. How's that sound? Let's just do that. Here we go. Copy link. There. Right there. Click that link and then repost it. That's all I ask you to do. Everyone in the chat, click that link. Except Soundable Nation, you did your thing. If you want to, you can. But everyone else, hit that link and repost it. Let's get some people here. Also, if you want to sponsor the show, the Streamlabs super link is being pinned as we speak. Thank you, Johnny Boomer Tech, for dropping that link. And he'll be doing that periodically through the show. Just as a reminder, because, you know, babies need new shoes. And we've got 2 of them now. Well, not us, but my daughter and granddaughter. And this weekend, we're going to have a nice little family brunch. We're excited about that. Maybe spend some time in the pool. The pool that came with the house that we got. Okay, so just so you don't think we're like these we're ballers or anything. The reason we have a pool is because we found a house that was foreclosed on that we bought, and we got it for super cheap at the lowest. We hit the lowest end of the market. We had actually left our old house and rented for a while just to hope we could find something like this. And it happened to be very close to where we live. We didn't have to move far, and it had a pool. Now, pretty soon though, now that it's just me and Lady Boomer, empty nesters, we may be selling the pool because it's just ballers are ballers. Ballers as in, we may be selling the pool and then the house will go with it. So yeah, that was supposed to be funny. Because, you know, it's not hard to deal with, but it's tedious for me because I'm the one who does all the work in the pool. But, and then you know, and then you got the pool deck. You got to keep that clean. You got to do all this other stuff. So anyway, good morning, Bookwormatic. Nice to see you. So let's get it started because boy, do we got a lot to go through. So, and I did the hellos, I did all that. Am I right? Okay. All right. Let's start the show. So what? Wait, hold on. I'm looking at the chat. By the way, it's free for all Friday. Get your questions in over in the Q&A. All I see is Soundable Nation. You could ask for something more useful like a box of used condoms. What? What are we talking about in the chat right now? Okay. Jesus. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Let's get into the news. First, I didn't do a special day today, but there is a celebrity birthday. And for me, I maybe this is not, you know, maybe not all that important to other people. But for me, this is a sad day just thinking about it. Today is Kobe Bryant's birthday. And look, I don't know and maybe you're not into basketball like I am, but Kobe Bryant was a very, very impressive person. And maybe one of the reasons he was such a great basketball player is he was probably the hardest working person in basketball. He trained just constantly for his craft. Now, was he a perfect person? No, he got caught cheating on his wife, whatever. But yeah, I still had a lot of respect for Kobe and his career and his attitude and his desire to win. And so I will celebrate Mamba's birthday. It is happy birthday, Kobe Bryant, posthumously. No, I'm not going to go fly in a helicopter to celebrate. That's not funny. Damn it. Damn it. That's not funny. Should have worked harder at finding a helicopter. Damn, AD. You're kind of rough around the edges today. So anyway, that's why Kobe Bryant's trending, and also Mamba's trending because that was his nickname, was Mamba. And so happy birthday, Kobe Bryant. All right, moving on. I'm going to make these trending topics as short and sweet as possible because I do got a few articles to get through, especially Gunfox's articles here. Now, this is something that happened. This is wild, okay? Now, maybe you're not familiar. You may or may not be familiar with how track and field works and what's going on in the world of track and field. But this video is amazing. So apparently, this is in Australia. And this 16-year-old, oh, hello, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
And who else? Number one is here. Good morning. In Australia, watch this young man that I'm putting a circle around with my cursor, this young Sudanese fellow, this is a like a high school age track meet. This is 16 years old, and they're about to run the 100 meters, and you're going to see something extraordinary here. Watch this. Look at this kid go. Now, it's just a bunch of kids running, right? And he won the race by a lot. Except this 16-year-old ran a 10.2 second 100 meters at 16 years old. That's insane. A 16-year-old running a 10.2. JB, that's funny. He could be 30 for all we know. Good morning, Jedi Ghost Bear, Bookworm, and Addict. I think I already said that, didn't I? That's just wild. Now you have to wonder if the kid's really 16 or not. You know how that happens with some of the immigrants, but still, a 10.2 at a high school meet is pretty freaking amazing. Moving on, Peggy Noonan, thank you, Gunfox61. Another Hamilton in the tip jar, another article. Oh my goodness, I might have to skip a lot of stuff for this today. Thankfully, I don't have a set plan. It's just how it's going to be today. Let me fix all these though. Good God, what happened there? I'm still having computer problems. If you didn't know, one of these days I'll find a way to fix it. But there we are. Peggy Noonan is trending today. Apparently, she's angered some people because of her punditry. Peggy Noonan apparently says that the Democrats, their convention, says they stole traditional Republican themes, patriotism, and claimed them as their own. Also impressive was the degree to which they cast a magic conjuring sorcery spell in which viewers got the feeling the whole purpose of the Democratic Party is to break away from a grim and doom-laden reigning regime when they've been the one in charge for 3.5 years. So this is she wrote this Wall Street Journal article, which I'm going to have to get an archive version of it. But let's see what Peggy Noonan, relic from the Reagan administration. Let's do this. Let's get a archive version. There we go. So here's Peggy Noonan talking about Kamala Harris getting off to a strong start. Goody. I'm excited to hear about it. Her DN speech was fine, but the race remains a toss-up. It's all going to come down to policy, which I hope it does. I hope people start figuring out that Kamala Harris's policies are stupid. Kamala Harris's speech was fine and delivered it with assurance. I prefer ask not what your country can do for you to never do anything half-assed, but tastes vary. I guess is that what she said? Too soon we are hearing phrases like assure access to capital, and the text didn't have the feeling of a story being told from some previously unknown inner death that struck to resume values and life experiences rather than sharing of her thinking. I'm not sure it advanced her position with those who aren't already with her. There's a small but persistent cloud that follows her, which can be distilled down to the idea that she was swiftly and mysteriously elevated to her current position, that we don't know everything about how that happened, and that people aren't fully comfortable with it. Yeah, I don't think she succeeded in lightening or removing the cloud. Is that all she wrote? Is that it? That can't be the whole article. Okay, I guess it is. So anyway, but people are lambasting her for her opinions, both on the right and on the left, I guess. Here someone says, the arrogance and condescension of Peggy Noonan are why the majority of Americans have no idea who the world Peggy Noonan is. I liked it better when I forgot she existed for 20 years. And other people, Peggy Noonan is 73, Maureen Dowd is 72, George Will is 83, many more in their 70s and 80s. Why can't these people just retire? Oh, goodness. Yeah, people are not, mostly on the left are pissed at Peggy Noonan for that. But so anyway, that's why Peggy Noonan's trending. Also, Brian Kemp is trending. Apparently, Donald Trump has said something nice about Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia. And looks like Brian Kemp posted an interview of Sean Hannity with who? Who is he with? Who is this? He interviewed with he went on the Hannity show. And let's just get a couple seconds of this.
It's no secret. One of the most important swing states by far this year must win for Republicans.
And I can't. By the way, disclaimer. And I don't know why this is all fuzzy, but I can't. I just can't take Sean Hannity. Look, I've been a Republican and on the right for a good 30, 40 years, whatever. Because ever since my first time I registered to vote, I registered Republican. I don't know why then, but I know why now. And I, some of the Fox News pundits I can take. He is not one of them. I don't know why. He's annoying. He's whatever. But Johnny Boomer Tech, you've been pretty busy there. Oh, because some of the old ones are coming up again. None of those links are good, guys. Streamlabs is not helping me close out that other account. Anyway, but here's a little snippet of Brian Kemp on Hannity show.
Exclusive interview. Governor of that great state. I spent 4 wonderful years there. I'm very fond of Georgia. Actually, Governor Kemp is with us. Governor, I ran into the son of Martin Luther King Jr. tonight. We had a long conversation. Really enjoyed my time with him. When I was there, I got to know all the great civil rights icons. Maynard Jackson welcomed me to Atlanta, my first day on the air there. So I have nothing but fond feelings for the people of Georgia. Thank you for being with us.
Come on.
Great to be on with you, Sean.
Come on.
So I'm glad you're here. I know all that you are doing in Georgia to, and honestly, I know also that it's working. I can see that it's working. The betting markets in Georgia, maybe people didn't notice, Poly Market, for example, shows that, since you have gone all in to get every report.
I can't. I just can't. Here's the point. Brian Kemp is fixing some of the voting problems in Georgia. They're getting rid of people in the voter rolls who are dead. They are. They're also looking at some problems that they had in Georgia. Now, for example, here's something. Georgia State Election Board votes 3-2. Chairman John Fervier will not F with this board. The board officially overrides the decision of Governor's Kemp main man, Chairman John Fervier, to authorize the reopening of the investigation into the 17,852 missing ballot images and the 3,125 fraudulent duplicate votes inserted into Fulton County's certified count of the 2020 election. So the chair's position, my position, is that that case has been adjudicated. That case has been adjudicated. That Fulton County met its obligation. Okay, that's 4 minutes long too. That Fulton County has met its obligation. The Secretary of State met their part of the obligation. Governor Kemp's. That's what John Fervier said. And then the chair threatens the board members with, I do want to caution this board that we are putting this board in legal jeopardy by approving this motion. So the board will reopen and investigate crimes that were committed by Fulton County during the 2020 election and covered up by Chair John Fervier and Ratzenberger. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Okay, this guy's had some very strong opinions. Anyway, so they're going to reopen looking into those missing ballots. But the reason Kemp is trending is neither of those things. And let me see if I can find it. Somewhere here, Donald Trump is making nice with Brian Kemp. So here it is. On Donald Trump's Twitter account, he says, thank you to Brian Kemp of Georgia for all your help and support in Georgia, where a win is so important to the success of our party and most importantly to our country. I look forward to working with you, your team, and all of my friends in Georgia. Help make America great again. Now remember, Donald Trump has been savaging Brian Kemp ever since 2020 election. So it's kind of wild when I see this post. And so some people notice that. Now, someone here says it's great to see Republican Party united to defeat communism in November. And then someone here says, I know a ghost-written tweet when I see one, Doug. That's the 3-year Letterman. But people are thanking Kemp. But then here, just a couple weeks ago, Trump had a rally in Atlanta where he trashed Brian Kemp and called him disloyal. And this person says Trump is nuts. So I don't get it. And then Governor Georgia says, this is from a while back, Georgia GOP Governor Brian Kemp reveals he didn't vote for Trump in the GOP primary, but he didn't vote for anybody in the GOP primary. And then Governor Brian Kemp tells Trump Georgia's election was not stolen. That's from a while back, too. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what Brian Kemp did to get a thank you from Donald Trump. I have no idea. I have no idea, other than Trump knows he needs to win Georgia, so he probably should not be trashing the governor of Georgia when he's trying to run for president. So anyway, good morning, Willie. How you doing? Nice to see you. Moving on. Vivek Ramaswamy's trending. He's been spending a lot of time at the DNC. This was an interesting one where he's been out there just talking to everybody. Vivek might be the bravest guy. What the hell happened there? There we go. Vivek might be the bravest guy out there. It's fascinating to watch him go into crowds and sometimes hostile crowds and talk to people. And there are times when I see him and I go, man, I wish Trump would have picked him. I mean, Vance is doing okay, but Vivek is really good with people who oppose him. So here he is out with I think these are Palestinian protesters, and they kind of, he stayed calm, but they kind of went at him and kind of ran him out of there.
So I'm curious as to what you're doing here. Are you a supporter of the genocide against the Palestinian people?
I am an American who is actually here to listen to the views of people who disagree with me. Now, one of the reasons I'm supporting a candidate in this election. Are you a supporter of Israel? I support the United States, and because of that, I support Israel and our relationship with them.
You support a genocide that has killed 40,000 Palestinians in the last 10 months.
So look, I think that the truth is there was an attack that precipitated it.
No, the truth
and we can't
is,
ignore
listen,
that.
Dude, I don't play those
fact.
kinds of games. I'm an organizer. I'm not one of your.
I'm also pragmatist.
I'm not one of these people.
You're not a party.
I'm not an acolyte of yours.
You're not a partisan.
I'm not an acolyte of yours, and I'm not a hack for you or for the Democrats or for the Republicans or nobody else.
I got you.
I'm asking you that you have no right to be here if you're not in support
now, this
of
is
the Palestinian
interesting.
people.
You have no right to be here.
You're not going to call.
Here's what I
for
believe.
No right to be here.
You have the right to be here.
If you're not going to call
so do
for
we in
an
return.
end to the genocide and an end to the killing and an end to the support of Israel, then you should take off. We don't want you here. You're not welcome here.
Well, the
What up,
news
Jimmy
is
Das
we're
Hotel?
America, and so we actually get to all express ourselves
Really?
peacefully.
You get to express being a racist?
You get to express
being a racist Zionist pig?
I
Is that what you get to express?
I'm pro-American,
You
but I
want to
believe in your
express
right
that?
to speak. I believe in your right to speak your mind.
Do you believe?
Racist go home! Racist go home!
So, and then it continues on, racists go home, racists go home. But, I like the fact that he will go into hostile environments. Also, he had a little chit chat with, here we go. Here he goes. I met a 12-year challenged me at the DNC tonight in my policy that every high school senior should have to pass the same civics exam required of legal immigrants. I'm proud of him. Okay, I don't want to put a kid on here. He also got in with Van Jones. And let me see if I can find the Van Jones clip. Let's see. Let's try this. Here it is. Here's the Van Jones clip. It's very noisy, obviously, this one.
So we got death threats. We got death threats after the thing you said. So that's Van Jones for you.
So you were on air, and you said...
Here we go.
You said, he's a demagogue, he's dangerous, he's going to be around for 50 years, long after Donald Trump's gone. So the first time in the campaign, We get a death threat of a man who wants to show up in New Hampshire. Thankfully, the police intervened, got it. The next day, back-to-back days. So my wife's scared enough. The next day, we wake up. It's 3 a.m. We get a call from him. He's my security guard saying, thank God you picked up, because we just got a call that somebody showed up at their house and has 4 dead bodies out. So that's within 48 hours, and I'm not going to attribute that to your comment because whatever it is. But for our family, you know what? Publicly I didn't do it, but for our family, yeah, it pissed us the heck off, actually. And so the reality is, I don't try to engage in rhetoric that gets other people in danger of bodily harm, but I do think that if somebody's going to, even if you didn't intend to provoke that kind of ire on my family, yeah, in that week it landed with me. Now, at the same time, am I going to...
Test.
Do I want to set a good example for people in this country of what discourse looks like? I do. And in the heat of a presidential campaign, and I've been open about this since I left the campaign as well, my competitive spirits, sometimes stop us from being able to have the level of discourse we want. And I think you were wrongfully pushed out of the White House for your comments around 9/11. Way back when as well. They were misconstrued, exactly. So what I will tell you is this. Yep. So I just wanted you to know that backdrop.
So now they've exchanged numbers. They might do an interview, but yeah, Van Jones, back when Van Jones was saying that Vivek Ramaswamy was a dangerous demagogue. So Ramaswamy, anyway, he went and confronted him directly. Just this little thread that you'll see when you get to it is just full of him talking to people who disagree with him, though. We'll do one more, and then we're going to move on. This one is... here's some attendees of the DNC he said, I was very pleasantly surprised with my interactions with a number of the attendees of the DNC. Yes, there are plenty of crazies who scream in my face, half-naked protesters and chants of racists, but there were far more people who are willing to engage in a civil exchange. So here's one more of those, and then we're going to move on. Let me get this open here. There we go.
Then take off the button if you're undecided. Yes, you can take a picture. Okay, wonderful. You're actually undecided, though?
Yes.
Okay, so
I think the Israel...
Because if we can have an earnest, like a good faith conversation, I would love to.
Yes, it's the Israel-Palestine for me. I know that Vice President Harris has called for a ceasefire. However, I think with the Biden administration, she has kind of stood by. And unfortunately, I don't think that the Biden administration in the United States should be selling pieces of arms to Israel. It's funding the Netanyahu government and against Hamas.
So
how about Ukraine?
Foreign policy, let's just say, how old are you?
20.
20. You're in college.
Yes.
Foreign policy, complicated terrain.
Yes.
Let's just start with right here at home.
Yes.
What's important to you at home?
Important to me at home, Michigan is our infrastructure, our economy.
You live in Michigan?
I do. One big thing for me is an environment. The environment.
You're in college? Or
yes,
where?
sir.
Okay, where at?
The University of Michigan, Flint.
Got it.
Yes.
So the environment's important to you. Clean air,
yes.
Clean water,
our Great
national
Lakes
parks.
Is
the
very
Great Lakes,
important.
keeping the lakes clean. So I actually visited Flint, Michigan during my presidential campaign. I live in Ohio. East Palestine was a disaster for the home state that I live in as well.
It truly was, yes.
And I think that falls at the feet of a Department of Transportation that was led by a former McKinsey consultant by the name of Pete Buttigieg, who I think has been disastrous for leading this particular agency that was responsible for that crisis. I think it's shameful that leaders of both parties, but the Democratic Party included, have forgotten the forgotten cities like Flint, Michigan. That's what the America First movement's actually about. See, the America First movement is about putting the citizens of this country and their interests above everything else. And some people find that controversial, but I actually think that's a message that spans not just Republicans, but Democrats as well. So the question I have for you is, if you believe in merit, do you believe the best person should get the job? Do you believe in free speech and open debate? Do you believe in growing the economy and making sure you're able to get ahead? To the president who you think is going to best deliver that for the country?
For me,
I believe that's
I personally, in our primary, I voted for Nikki Haley because...
So you voted in the Republican primary, but then now you're... Okay.
Well, I voted in the because I knew that President Biden would get the nomination.
Okay.
So I wanted to try...
Make your voice heard.
So he wanted to try to add some more votes so Donald Trump wouldn't win the primary. Because did you hear that? Did you catch that part? Where he said, I didn't vote in the... Kamala Harris or Joe Biden was going to win the the Democratic primary. So he crossed over. Anyway, there's all kinds of conversations like this. I'm going to get to articles because I want to make sure I get Q&A started today. So let's change. I'm going to skip the rest of the trending topics today, but one of them actually is part of this, and I'm going to add Gunfox's articles into this section because this has to do with Kamala Harris's her nomination speech. Let me do this one first. Oh, good. Do I have the third one on here? Okay, there it is. Let's see. I'm gonna move these out. I just got to move these back in order here. All right. Well, first, obviously, one of the trending topics today is Kamala Harris and her acceptance speech last night, and we'll go with MSNBC's take on this first because this is the one that Gunfox sent me. Let's start here. Kamala Harris wasn't taking any chances in her DNC speech, but that's why it worked. The 2024 Democratic National Convention is over, and despite fears of intra-party fighting and violent clashes between police and protesters outside the United Center, this was not a replay of 1968. That's because the police cleared that shit out as fast as they could. Good morning, Amazing Disgrace. In fact, Lil Jon's roll call cameo notwithstanding, it was about as basic as political conventions get. And that's probably the best Democrats could hope for. Yeah, that's probably true. The crowd at Chicago's United Center roared as Vice President Kamala Harris accepted the Democratic nomination for president. And it's a historic moment. And one that clearly inspired a lot of emotion. The cameras found more than a few non-dry eyes in the house. But like the convention itself, Harris's speech was successful in large part because she played it kind of safe. She's played it safe for the moderates, the independents. She wished her husband, Dougie Emhoff, a happy 10th anniversary. She told a compelling personal story about being a child of immigrants who traveled the world to work for the American dream and succeeded. And she spoke about her distinguished career as a prosecutor who always showed up for the people, except for the guy who was on death row. Then there was the Donald Trump part of the speech. Here, Harris hit the necessary notes, reminding voters that Trump tried to throw away your votes. Ironic, because they threw away Joe Biden's votes to get her there during his month-long attempt to overturn the 2020 election. He didn't think it was right. And it's funny how suddenly in 2024, they're finding all these ballot issues in Arizona and what was it, in Georgia, Pennsylvania? I mean, they're all of a sudden they're finding all these issues, but you can't talk about it because, you know, he tried to steal an election. Anyway, also culminating the January 6th assault at the Capitol. And it's been that he's been convicted of felonies, found liable for sexual abuse. I know we're almost a decade in the Trump era, but it still blows my mind how these brief nuggets of his recent bio are seen as little more than campaign talking points by much of the American electorate. Well, probably because of the way you got those, the conviction, the way you got the civil liability suit. You basically changed laws specifically for one person, and they'll be thrown out probably eventually. Harris also highlighted arguably Trump's most important political victory, getting 3 justices out of the Supreme Court to overturn Roe versus Wade. Harris spoke of the consequences of Trump's legacy, including women miscarrying in a parking lot, getting sepsis, losing their ability to ever have children again. I haven't heard of those cases. I've heard of the cases where the one lady showboatingly left Texas to get an abortion on a life and death consideration that she didn't need to leave Texas for because they give you those exceptions. But I'm just saying. Anyway, and in a callback to one of the most affecting segments of the Democratic National Convention, Harris spoke of children who have survived sexual assault, potentially forced to carry the pregnancy to term, This is what is happening in our country because of Donald Trump. Harris' rhetorical assaults on Trump were absolutely the high point of the speech. He articulated the verifiable threats Trump poses to democracy. False. I was responding to some jackhole. Joe Walsh, you know that guy, right? The former congressman from, not the, not that guy, the other guy, the former congressman. And the idea that Trump poses a threat to democracy is completely idiotic. Why? Because in our democracy, or representative republic, however you want to call it, the president of the United States can't change the Constitution by himself. To change the Constitution, you got to have 3/4 of the states ratify something. So this whole thing about Trump being a threat to democracy, Trump going to be a dictator, Trump's going to, is an authoritarian. Our president doesn't have that power. There are 3 co-equal branches of government, and even if Donald Trump is elected and he gets both the House majorities in the House and the Senate, he still can't change the Constitution. He will not have a 3rd term, post 2nd term. He will not be able to keep himself in office. The Supreme Court has ruled against Trump in multiple cases in the past. Donald Trump has never attempted to circumvent a Supreme Court ruling, unlike the current administration, student loans. This is a stupid proposition. And even Donald Trump knows he can only be there 4 years. And there's no way around it. There's no way that he's going to get 3/4 of the state to change the Constitution for him. So that's a stupid argument. It's been stupid since day one that they started making it. All right, now, so Trump poses the democracy, global order of the rights of everyday Americans in succinct, pugnacious fashion. Yeah, no. And in fact, wow, it's ironic that she chose Tim Walz as a running mate, who in Minnesota, they passed a law that if your child ends up in Minnesota and they're 13 or older and they want to do get medicalized transitioning, they can do it without their parents' permission, even if it's in a case where they're fleeing another state, and those parents have no rights to their own minor children. And in fact, even in Minnesota, you have no rights as far as the medicalization of your child if they're 13 years old. You have no rights or any say in the medicalization of your child of making themselves a permanent medical patient. You have no rights as a parent to guide your own children. So fuck off with this, rights of everyday Americans. You don't give a fuck about the rights of everyday Americans. You want your rules and not anybody else's. When it came to policy specifics, it did not sound like much of a departure from Joe Biden's agenda. Oh, great. Wow. There were a lot to talk about the middle class and Trump's tax cuts for billionaires. Oh, that lie too. He only cut taxes for billionaires. No, he cut taxes for everybody. But Harris was completely vague about building what she called an opportunity economy that under her leadership would bring together labor and workers. Aren't labor and workers the same thing? Small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies, how she'd bring together these often competing forces, and what bringing together even means remains unexplained. And even on an evening dubbed by some social media smart Alex as a normie night, the one night when less partisan people would likely be tuned in, the program was stuffed with police officers, ex-Republicans, moderates, and foreign policy tough talk. In this vein, Harris assured normies that, unlike Trump, she would not abandon NATO. Trump is not interested in abandoning NATO. He wants NATO to step up. And if they don't, well then, whatever. And that, quote, as commander-in-chief, I will ensure America has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world, end quote. Republicans have for decades portrayed Democrats as lacking the killer instinct to deal with the worst actors on the international stage. This was Harris's moment to let the undecideds know that she understands the threats posed by Iran and China, while adding that she wouldn't be reckless and impulsive with that power like Trump. No, Trump wields it in a way that gets other people to shut the fuck up. And you would like to appease them. And that's why we're having problems with Iran, because Joe Biden switched to Iran policy. Then came the Gaza part of the speech, the lack of a Palestinian American speaker or any representative from the uncommitted delegation was the elephant in the room. And after a staunch defense of Israel's right to defend itself and a condemnation of the terrorist organization Hamas, Harris spoke of the civilian suffering in Gaza. What has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months, this is a quote, is devastating. So many innocent lives lost, desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. Again, when getting specific, it didn't appear that Harris's policy is any different from Biden's. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, and the suffering in Gaza ends. And the Palestinian people can recreate or realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination. Team Harris is most likely hoping that her stated commitments to work for a ceasefire and a Palestinian state, especially given the fact that her opponent openly uses the word Palestinian as an insult. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just had to chuckle at that a little bit. Hello, Selecta Boy. Yeah, boy. Will be enough to temporarily quell the dissatisfaction from the party's progressive wing and get out to vote in November. We will fairly soon find out. Over the course of 4 often long nights, Harris and Democrats made history this week. Along the way, America heard from Oprah, America's new favorite high school football coach, Tim Walz, and the party's rising star. Oh, Coach Walz, yay. Like Governors Wes Moore and Josh Shapiro, or rising stars like Governor Wes Moore and Josh Shapiro. But with November 5th just 74 days away, there's very little room for error. And if the convention and Harris acceptance speech are indications, Democrats know full well they cannot afford to make any mistakes between now and the election. Yes, that's why you had that group of, I guess were they Black Caucus members or something? I don't know. Saying, nope, we got to keep cool. We got to keep it down. And as soon as the election's over, then we can start acting crazy again. That's pretty apropos by Anthony Fisher at MSNBC. All right, next article. Now, this is the BBC. No, not that kind of BBC. Stop it. I'm pretty sure that the BBC probably gave a nice taint cleaning via tongue here. Let's see. Kamala Harris pledges new way forward in historic convention speech. Historic. Oh, I get it, because she's a woman and she's blackish and Indian. Because that's all they care about. Okay, so this is the BBC, probably gushing. Vice President Kamala Harris pledged a new way forward for all Americans as she formally accepted the Democratic nomination for president on Thursday night, delivering a message of unity and urging voters to reject Donald Trump. November's election is a chance to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, she said, bringing her party's convention in Chicago to a close as balloons rained down and supporters cheered. Ms. Harris' speech capped off a 4-day spectacle designed to highlight her backstory and shape the contours of what remain a vague policy agenda. So that's 2 outlets so far that are Harris-friendly that are saying vague policy agendas. Interesting. She made history as the first Black and Asian American woman to lead the major party's presidential ticket. The 59-year-old officially became the Democratic nominee after a fast-moving few weeks that began with President Joe Biden stepping aside in the White House race. Polls suggest she is now in a tight race with Trump, who offered criticism of Ms. Harris's appearance as it unfolded. Oh, the thing about the Time magazine cover. Whatever. She shared personal anecdotes about growing up in a beautiful working class neighborhood as a daughter of Jamaican and Indian immigrant. Working class neighborhood? We might need a fact check on that. I mean, her dad was a Stanford professor and mom was this very well-paid researcher. Oh, maybe she means the neighborhood in Canada. I'm wondering when she lived near Montreal with her mom. I grew up in a working class neighborhood. And she argued that her background as a prosecutor, a detail she avoided emphasizing during her 2020 run, made her uniquely qualified to defeat Trump and serve in the Oval Office. Oh, yeah, because you're good at, making shit up and finding ways to make charges that probably, should have never been brought. You're good at that. As it did her record as vice president under Biden. Her record as vice president, you mean when she was the least popular vice president in history? Okay, whatever. Ms. Harris also dedicated several minutes in her speech to how her late mother, Shamala Gopalan Harris, shaped her life and political career. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but instead to do something about it. Ms. Harris recalled her sister, Maya, 57, also spoke on a Her sister, Maya, 57, also spoke on the night, saying their mother had been a trailblazer, having set great expectations of us. She raised us to believe that we could be or do anything, she said, to loud applause. It's distinctly an American story. I guess it is. You're proud of people who, and whether they're born here or their parents were born here or what, Americans who do the work and make their way forward are great. Now, she had a little boost along the way when she got horizontal to make her career go vertical, but that's, another story. Ms. Harris made a pitch to aspirational families across America, saying she would create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to compete and a chance to succeed. Well, we have that already. It's not like that you can't do that. Look, J.D. Vance is from the hills of Kentucky, and he certainly made his way. Oprah Winfrey was one of your speakers. She certainly had a chance to compete and succeed, and she did. In fact, there's a whole bunch of people speaking at your convention that maybe had modest upbringings and still succeeded to get to where they are. So the idea that where everyone has a chance to compete. Look, Ben Carson grew up in public housing, and he became the greatest brain surgeon in the world. I mean, the idea that everyone has a chance to compete and succeed, are you saying we don't? That's stupid. Moving on. She said she would end America's housing shortage. And help entrepreneurs. However, she did not describe any specific changes in policy from the administration in which she currently serves. They keep criticizing her on policies. Trump reacted to his rival speech on a social media platform, Truth Social, and called into Fox News after the event concluded to criticize her remarks. He questioned her record during 4 years in the White House as vice president. Why didn't she do something about things of which she complains? The Republican wrote, right? 5 weeks ago, Democrats thought their party, hang on, is this okay? Now they just go on to who is Kamala Harris, and I'm sure it's more tongue bath stuff here, but we're gonna skip that. Thank you, Gunfox, for that one. And finally, the New York Post, and then we'll go to Gunfox's other article. Then we'll go to Q&A. This is the New York Post version. Now, this is just the politics section, so not necessarily the opinion section. Kamala Harris capped star-studded DNC with acceptance speech, big on vibes, but light on policy. So this is the third article, two obviously very friendly outlets and one more skeptical outlet, all saying light on policy. It's interesting because this morning I saw a tweet or whatever by one of the Krasenstein crackheads saying, oh, see, all you Republicans who are saying Kamala Harris doesn't have any policies. Well, here's 47 minutes of her with policies. Well, apparently the BBC, NBC, and the New York Post failed to see what you're talking about there. Ed, or Brian, the uglier brother of Ed, twin brother, by the way. Vice President Kamala Harris capped a star-studded Democratic National Convention on Thursday by vowing to unite Americans and usher in a new way forward, but offered little insight into her policy agenda that would achieve that. Harris, 59, soon to be 60, because she and I were born the same year, formally accepted the party's nomination in a speech that focused on her middle-class background and painted former President Donald Trump as an unserious man whose election would have extremely serious consequences for American democracy. No, they won't. Sorry, I've already gone through that. In the nearly 40-minute address, Harris leaned heavily on her childhood and her unexpected journey to the White House. Yeah. Excuse me. Yes, unexpected. That's good. That's an apropos term to use for there. America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. Oh, no, you knew Joe was dementia-bound. You knew it. You've known it for 3 years. You've been in meetings. You've looked at him funny every time he says something off the cuff, wondering what the hell's going to come out of his mouth next. You knew something was coming. And in fact, I'm pretty sure the party bosses had you informed that they're going to find a way to get him to step down, and we're going to put you in that place. So the unexpected unexpected, I ain't buying it. Anyway, my mother, Kamala Harris, has one of her own. I miss her every day, especially now. And I know she's looking down tonight and smiling. I'm sure she is. I'm sure her mother would be proud of her right now. My mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer. The former California Attorney General highlighted her upbringing in a working-class neighborhood in the San Francisco Bay Area. Again, I'm curious about that, because I heard she was in a nice little enclave that was full of Stanford professors. Anyway, it was mostly my mother who raised us. Yes, after your mother left your father and moved to Canada. Because they keep talking about the working class neighborhood in San Francisco Bay Area, but she left the United States with her mother and lived in Canada. Have you ever seen a single article mention her time living near Montreal? I don't see them. They keep talking about it in San Francisco. Maybe she didn't live there long. I'm still wondering where she celebrated Kwanzaa, though. That's my biggest question. Anyway, she rented a small apartment in the East Bay. In the Bay, you either live in the hills or the flatlands. We lived in the flats. A beautiful working-class neighborhood of firefighters, nurses, and construction workers, all who tended their lawns with pride. When finally delving into policy, Harris, who accepted the nomination without having sat for any significant media interviews, offered scant details. I will bring together labor, worker, and small business and owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs. No, except for those 818,000 that went missing. To grow our economy and to lower the cost of everything needs like healthcare and housing and groceries, he pledged. Except your solution is to spend money and print money, which will inflate those things more. Anyway, we will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders and protect Social Security and Medicare. Later, she vowed to pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans, safeguard abortion access, and sign sweeping border security legislation into law that was opposed by most Republicans this summer. Now, it's also fascinating, too, because Democrats never talk about tax cuts. But if you pass a middle-class tax cut, so to speak, do you know who pays, as far as numbers, what is the largest group of people who pay taxes? And I'm not against tax cut. Go for it. We got one from Donald Trump. We might as well get another one from you. But what's the largest group of people that pay taxes? That'd be the middle class. So is she going to do that without raising the deficit? Especially since she's so far she's proposed about $2 trillion in new spending. too. I try to figure out how she's reconciling this. She's not going to get, there aren't enough billionaires to do it. Now you can take it from corporations, but who actually pays the taxes for corporations? It's not the corporations, it's their customers. You got to raise those prices. So she's kind of in a weird place right now. Anyway, later she would vow to pass a middle-class tax cut, blah, blah, blah. Democrats have been re-energized by Harris taking the 81-year-old President Biden's place atop of the ticket. Yes, because they knew he was demented. Just over a month ago, despite lack of any robust policy discussion and the lack of policy page on her campaign website. The Kamala Coconut vibes. What energy? The Kamala Coconut vibes, quote, energy, end quote, was mentioned in many of the speakers and the attendees throughout the DNC and could be felt at the convention center on the final night with an all-evening-long dance party filled with celebrity appearances, including performances by pop sensation Pink and a speech by Desperate Housewives actor Eva Longoria. Oh, thank God. Attendees also cheered videos of Harris dancing and laughing and spreading joy. Okay, I'm not going to make the joke. Delegates roared loudly when multiple speakers mentioned the fake crude couch reference about GOP vice presidential nominee Senator J.D. Vance. You know, they keep doing it, and they know it's a lie. Everyone knows it's a lie. Maybe they should stop. But the energy took a turn when attendees who were expecting a special guest to introduce their presidential nominee discovered there was none. Rumors that Beyonce would perform reached a fever pitch Thursday night after TMZ reported that the superstar would be dropping in. The crowd was waiting until the last moment for the megastar, only to find that there was no surprise musical performance. Ah. Ah. There we go. NBA star and Olympic gold medalist Stephen Curry did, however, make an unexpected appearance via video in which he said Harris would bring back unity. Kamala, as president, can bring that unity back, claimed Curry, who led the USA men's basketball team to a gold medal this summer in the 2024 Paris Olympics. In the words of Michelle Obama, do something, go vote. Oh, thanks, Steph. Meanwhile, in her speech, Harris blasted Trump as selfish and accused him of having no guardrails in the White House. And, well, of course he does. The Constitution is still a guardrail. God, these people are stupid. Meanwhile, in many ways, Donald Trump, this is a quote, in many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man, but the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Okay, it goes on and on and on. I'm going to stop there. Anyway, the theme between these different articles has been policy or lack thereof. That's interesting. Both the left and the right outlets. Light on policy. So, all right, one article before we do Q&A. Thank you again, GunFox61. Apparently, a suspended Army 4-star general asks for command back after pressuring panel to prop up career of an unfit subordinate. What? A top Army general suspended earlier this year for following Military.com investigation into his attempts to influence a subordinate officer's promotion is asking the Army Secretary Christine Wormuth to be placed back into command. General Charles Hamilton, who is the head of an Army Material Command, oversaw much of the service's logistics operation, wrote a letter to Wormuth on Friday, again asking to be reinstated. Hamilton, who is black, claimed in the letter that he had to intervene in the Army's Command Assessment Program, or CAP selection, last fall because he felt the process is racist and would unfairly handle the selection of the black subordinate officer. Now that's fascinating because how did the general get to where he was? How did that happen if it's racist? Holy shit. The 4-star general was swiftly suspended in March after reporting revealed he pulled strings for his subordinate, lobbying at least 3 generals on the assessment panel and successfully pushing to get the officer a second board just days before the first, despite the fact she had been found unfit for command. Quote, I respectfully ask that you allow me to resume command and continue leading our soldiers and civilians in one of the Army's most important and most impactful commands, Hamilton wrote in the letter, which was obtained by military.com. I have been brutally honest about my concerns with the command assessment program, disparate impact on black officers. He also claimed that military.com distorted facts in its investigation to make it appear that he was engaging in an unlawful interference. Hamilton declined to comment on the story published in March and did not refute the findings before the publication. Military.com is withholding the name of the subordinate officer because it found no evidence of wrongdoing on her part. The publication also confirmed the authenticity of the letter through multiple sources and Army officials with direct knowledge of the situation. Warmoth declined requests for comment. So his future is up in the air. And let's see. Oh, his future is now up in the air after Army investigators wrapped it up. It heads to Wormuth's desk for her to make a determination. He could be placed back into command, reduced in rank, and placed in another position, or separated from the service. Well, if he's separated from the service, that definitely would be. Yes, you stupid little kid. Yes, it would be racist if that happened. So fascinating. Thank you again, Gun Fox. Ladies and gentlemen, I have so many articles in the links that you'll love them. There's tons of them. There's good stuff. The big one was the PBS scandal. So the other day, Judy Woodruff of PBS on the air said that Donald Trump was talking with Netanyahu, telling him not to have a ceasefire agreement. By the way, the Hamas leaders are the ones who backed out of the latest talks. So they attempted to cook up a new scandal, and this is crazy. Where is it here? Well, here, in Bob Dylan's criminally overlooked 2003 cinematic appearance, Masked and Anonymous, the newspaper editor tells a reporter, I will tell you this, there is a story here, make something out of it, and if you can't do that, sir, then make it up. It's advice that actual journalists today all too often follow. Sometimes, however, they get caught, as PBS just was. Rick laid out all the ugly details in here. So here it is. We'll open that one too. The left pounces on fake news that Trump called Netanyahu to delay a ceasefire. Several news outlets were reporting on a story that Donald Trump called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on August 14th to discuss the ongoing ceasefire negotiations with Hamas. According to Axios, the story was supposedly confirmed by two unnamed U.S. sources who were briefed on the call. PBS NewsHour ran with the story with host Judy Woodruff, claiming, quote, the reporting is that former President Trump is on the phone with Prime Minister of Israel, urging him not to cut a deal right now because it's believed it would help Kamala Harris. If Trump had made the call, he would have been in violation of the Logan Act, which prohibits unauthorized private citizens from negotiating with foreign governments on behalf of the U.S., according to Newsweek. Massive crime, screeched political commentator and Democratic National Committee member David Atkins. Actors Stephen Pasquale said it was pretty balls-to-the-wall treason. The Lincoln Project wrote, there is absolutely no line he won't cross. But both Netanyahu and Trump deny the call ever took place. Axios reported on a fictitious call on August 15th. Netanyahu's office immediately denied it. Then Woodruff repeated the lie on broadcast on Monday, and on Wednesday, Woodruff was forced to make a humiliating retreat. And then her retreat was, in the live moment, I repeated the story because I hadn't seen later reporting that both sides denied it. Her statement said, this was a mistake and I apologize for it. It doesn't matter. All these fucktards were pouncing on it, as you would say about Republicans. So anyway, the scandal kind of shows how the media is worse than useless. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time because I'm running out of time, so I got to get this in. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Friday Q and A. Anyway, all right. I got the Q&A box open over here. I'll try to pay attention. And if you add anything to it on the right side, but right now, here we go. Okay, I was on the wrong question. I got a preview of one of the questions to come. I'm going to have to do this quickly today, so here we go. JB says, if you could change a part of a famous book, which book and which part? Example, Moby Dick really kills the whale. Now, let's just take that book, for example. I think if you had a what is it, Jonah and the whale, when the whale swallows him and he lives inside of the whale for a while, that's what I would change Moby Dick to. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. I'm sorry. I wish I did. Avocatus Diabli. If you could see into the future, but you used what you saw to change what happens, would you truly be able to say you could see into the future, since what you see never happens? I'm going to read that again for those who aren't paying attention. I'm sorry. Yeah, Moby Dick was the whale. I meant Ahab. I meant Ahab. No, I meant the whale ate himself. No, that Ahab did a Jonah thing. Again, I'm going to read this again just so you can. This is hard to follow. If you could see into the future, but you used what you saw to change what happens, would you truly be able to see? You could see the future, since what you see never happens. No. It would it'd mess you up unless when you change what happens in the future, you remember that you changed it. But even then, you'd be like, did I actually change anything or what? I don't know. So that's the answer to that question. Avocado Diabli, would the world be a better or worse place if Joe Biden had been driving that car, oh my God, instead of his wife? Oh my God. Oh! It wouldn't, I don't know if it would have changed at all. But his wife would probably be alive. that was mean. Okay, Avocado Diabli, if you woke up as a fish, wouldn't you be dead, since you would have suffocated not long after you turned into one while sleeping on dry land? Who said I was sleeping on dry land? Or if I turned into a fish, how do you know I didn't also teleport to some water? Didn't think about that, did you? Moving on. Thank you, JB. Where are the Snowdens of yesteryear? It's a line from Catch 22, LOL. Good book and movie. Okay. Yes. Avocado Stally, do you think somewhere there is someone placing bets on how fast the grass will grow? Yes, there are. There are people who bet on just about anything. Gunfox61 says, this is CNN, the most worthless space in all of news. And that's not a question, but I accept that. Avocados Diabli, which do you prefer, a self-printing pump or self-priming pump or a pressure pump? I don't know. What do you prefer, a self-priming pump or a pressure pump? I don't know. It depends on what is that. Is it like, I don't know what that is. I don't know. I really don't. Unless you're talking about like a pump in a water fountain or something. I don't know. Maybe in that case, a self-priming pump. Avocados Diabli, what is the number of tools on a Swiss Army knife that is just too many? 8. Anything beyond, like, because, you know, once you get one of those knives, they're about like this wide, you know, and there's like 40 tools on it. Those are stupid because you can't really use the tools. They're not convenient. If you have just a small one that may have like 6 or 7 tools on it, that's actually functional, okay? The other ones are really dumb. Gunfox61, do you think the cult of the left will try to cheat for the 2024 election. Yeah. It's the idea that nobody's ever tried to cheat an election is ludicrous. Now, the extent of how successful they've been, who knows? You just don't know, because you're never going to get that number. Gunfox, do you think Trump will take Pennsylvania, Georgia, Ohio, and possibly Minnesota? I don't think he'll take Minnesota now, although I don't think I don't think Tim Walz would have won another term as governor here. He's not necessarily the most popular governor, but he probably is more popular now that he's the vice presidential candidate, but he's from Minnesota, so I don't think they'll win Minnesota. I think Georgia, probably. Ohio is a good chance. Pennsylvania, for whatever reason, seems to be doing pretty good too, but I don't think he'll win Minnesota. Avocados Diablo, if you could only have one screwdriver for the rest of your life, would it be Phillips, slotted tip, or hex? Well, it depends, because you got to be able to unscrew things too. And because you can deal with it as probably a Phillips head, by the way, because most things now are Phillips heads. But I do like hex screwdrivers and star bits too. Like when I built the stairs for my house, I use star bits, and those are great. And they're the reason I like those in hex is because they don't. They're a lot harder to strip, but to be practical, you would have to have a Phillips head. Lord Stanhope, are you sure they won't swap out Kami for Newsom? That's too late. They can't. In fact, I don't even know. Technically, Kamala Harris shouldn't be able to be on the Ohio ballot. They passed it. They put the Democrat National Convention after a deadline to get on the ballot in Ohio. And so I'm not sure if they've already reconciled that and changed the law, but there's some places where it's too late to change now. It's too late to change her now. Avocados Diablo, who is the greatest left-handed redheaded singer of all times? Oh, the dude. Hang on a second. I can answer that question. Mick Hucknall. Mick Hucknall. I just couldn't think of his name. He's the Mick Hucknall from Simply Red. That's him. Lord Stanhope, which Gavin is best and acceptable as leader? Gavin Newsom, Gavin Rossdale of Bush, the late Captain Gavin McLeod, Gavin McGinnis without the beer, or my favorite, the great Darren McGavin. It's obviously Gavin McLeod, the captain of the Love Boat. Avocados Diablo, Ready Whip or Cool Whip? I prefer Ready Whip because you get the one that has some actual cream in it. Cool Whip's like eating, processed plastic. Avocados Diablo, do you have champagne wishes and caviar dreams? Well, I used to, but then the lifestyles of the rich and famous was, kind of died in syndication. Avocados Diablo, is Kamala saying never do anything half-assed? and an admission that she does butt stuff. Oh, I'm not answering that. Thank you, Marty. Lord Stanhope says, you say Trump's strongest point is his policy, and thus what he should argue. How will that work on the people too stupid to understand policy? Well, he can do it in his own Trump way. I skipped a question. I'll figure it out. I did. I'll go right back to it. Thank you. Look, the policy, but you can explain how people have suffered from the policies of Joe Biden. I didn't say just his own policies, but you have to argue how those policies, what the policies are and how they affect you. And certainly the inflationary decisions by the Joe Biden administration, the decisions by the Joe Biden administration on immigration, which it's funny because they waited till 3.5 years in an election year to try to do anything about it. So you can talk about those policies and that people will understand that. For example, also the state of New York, or no, maybe it's just New York City, is spending over $100 million a year on undocumented, illegal border crossers. So people can understand that your policy that, all these people aren't coming into New York or wherever and coming to the States, they can understand that. So there you go. The question that I skipped, JB asked, you've been tasked to create a new sport. What is it called and how is it played? Oh, that is too deep. But it would have to do with, you'd have to make these levers that you have to hit and take something with that. You have to toss it into a basket or something like that. And it would be called, kickflip. Kickflip? Well, not kickball. Kickflip ball? I don't know. I just made something up on the fly. Avocados Diabli, why do you lie about your love of Hannity? We all know you own his Underoos line. Okay. Lord Stanhope, how effective will Kamala's most effective attack be? That being, excuse me, I am speaking. That, that's her, that is one of her lines. And she's done it multiple times. I just think, I don't know. I'm not excited about a debate between them. I hope that, Donald Trump does what he did in the Joe Biden debate and just kind of let the words flow. And that he has the lines that Tulsi Gabbard teaches him in their because she's doing debate prep for Donald Trump. I hope that he uses those well. Okay, where was I here? Here we go. Avocados Diabli, when are you going to take Johnny behind the barn? Well, if I had a barn, I would maybe just take him over to the side of the house and that baby this week if this shit don't get better. Lord Stanhope, in your humble opinion, how many sassy black women do you think Trump fired in his life? I don't know. I mean, other than her name starts with O, not Oprah. What's her name? Omarosa. He fired her, but that was on the Apprentice, so who knows? Probably 2. I'll say 2. Avocados Diabli, why don't you use dark mode? For what? My articles? I don't know. I just don't. I just don't. Oh, on Twitter and X? Again, I don't know. Lord Stanhope. Oh, because look, I'm old, and I know a lot of us here are old and whatnot, but for some reason, I do better with the light background and the dark letters when I'm reading. I just do. Although then I do this on YouTube, and I have the dark background with the white letters. So I guess maybe I'm just stuck in my ways. Lord Stanhope, have sassy black women been a curse or a boon to the race? Why are we talking about sassy black women? I'm confused. And do you mean to the presidential race or to just the race? I don't know. I don't know. Assertive black women don't bother me, but this particular one, I'm not ready to have be president. Let's put it that way. Avocados Diabli. Okay, I know you were waiting for it. Using only your hands, give a brief synopsis of the Third Punic War. I don't know what that is. It's gonna be. There. That was it. That's all I could do. I'm just guessing. That is a guessing estimation of the Third Punic War. Avocados Diabli, when you open your bar where you piss in somebody's glasses with your magic bladder, what will you name it? Streamer. Streamer bar. Lord Stanhope, have you ever thought about inventing Braille subtitles? You'd have to do those like, it'd have to pop up like little whack-a-mole things, you know, they'd have to come up really quick, boom, and then they touch them and boom, boom, boom. I don't know. I'd never thought of it until now. Thank you. Lord Stanhope, Lord Stanhope, what would be the best counterattack for Cammy's excuse me, I'm speaking here? I'm curious as far as what was that line? Where is it when Dustin Hoffman says I'm walking here? Is that Midnight Cowboy or something there? I don't know. I would just I don't know. I'm not sure. I think maybe you just go, oh, well, la-ti-da. La-ti-da. Oh, you're speaking here. That's just ridiculer. I don't know. Oh, my gosh, I got to go faster. If there were, this is Lord Avocados Diablo, if there were a pretty little pink sequin dress that gave the wearer superpowers, would you wear it? It depends on what kind of superpowers. Like, and did I have to, oh, here's the thing. Do I have to wear it on the outside? I could put it on and throw some sweatpants over it, no one would know I was wearing it. It'd feel kind of weird inside though. So yeah, I guess I would as long as I could cover it. Avocados Diablo, how do you, now this is the question where I opened it up and this is the question I started laughing. I'm like, can you even feed a cat lasagna? Well, yeah, obviously. Didn't you ever read Garfield? Good God, man. Lord Stanhope, what do you think liberals drink and would you avoid them? Liberals drink Stella Light. Okay? And if I'm going to drink a Stella, it's going to be a full, strong Stella. Lord Stanhope, can you recite the Gettysburg Address in Morse code? Absolutely not. I know. Is that right? SOS, or is it? I don't know. No, I can't. Avocados Diablo, if there's a wizard that lived in a tiny box in the woods who could transport you to other worlds to live in a life there for a short time, would you patronize his business? I'm honestly, I don't have any desire to transport myself to any other world to live. So, no. Lord Stanhope, if anyone belongs to in the trash, shouldn't it be Sleepy Joe? Yeah. Yes. Avocados Diablo, if self-repeating Frankenants replace your colon with this magic sack that could shit out any foodstuff, would you open a restaurant in your bar where you would shit on people's plates? Look, I don't know what this little bodily function restaurant bar idea came from, but you need to stop. That's just too weird. I don't know. And plus, I don't like people watching me in the bathroom. So, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. Somnambule Nation, opinion on Walt's crying scene. Oh, Gus Walt's crying scene? Look, I said this yesterday when we saw it. I said, look, I don't care. I mean, look, the son is super happy for his dad. If someone says he's neurodivergent, whatever diagnosis they have of him. You know what? If you're proud of someone in your life and sometimes it makes you cry, I don't care. I mean, I teared up when my daughter had her first baby. I was like, he's very proud of his dad and he was just happy. And I think that's a dumb thing to criticize the kid for. And now knowing that he has some special needs or whatever too. So, I think a lot of people jumped on that way too fast. And also, look, either you're super happy or I was mad when people ridiculed Kyle Rittenhouse for crying on the stand in a very high pressure situation too. And so, but what his kid does, because he's proud of his dad and he's tearing up, I don't give a shit. That doesn't make me like or dislike Tim Walz or this ticket anymore. I already hate the ticket, but I don't have any opinion of Gus Walz. So, Lord Stanhope, can you describe Van Gogh's flowers using only sign language? Okay, I'm going to skip that. I can't do it. Well, here. There we go. Lord Stanhope, should sassy black women be upset with Kamala for appropriating their culture? Yes. By the way, what's for dinner tonight? Oh, who knows? Okay. I'm running out of time. Actually, I'm out of time. So how many of these left? Oh, not that many left. Okay, good. By the way, what's for dinner? Maybe we might be doing a pizza night because we're cooking for our little family gathering tonight. Avocado Stably, can you do the mashed potato? I can. It probably isn't authentic, but it's probably close enough. Avocado Stably, Kamala's speech was big on vibes. Glad I did not watch it. Last thing I need is to see an hour of her in a vibrator. Oh my God. Okay. I'm with you there. Avocado Stably, remember this image. Harris's walls. No! Okay, Avocado Stably, self-repeating Frankenance, replace your esophagus with a magic tube. See, this one isn't a sack that could produce any condiment. How much would you charge to throw up in people's food? Oh my God. Oh, stop asking me about fucking Frankenance, first of all. And number two, I'm not pooping, shitting, throwing up, dropping earwax, menstruating, or otherwise on anyone's plate or bar glass. Not that I could do all those things, but you know what I mean? Lord Stanhope, will you have a good weekend? Always, especially anytime I see my daughter and my son-in-law and the grandbabies, it's a good day. Are you sure about that? I don't know what I'm sure about. It's like the boy. How many of Harris's voters understand supply and demand? Look, a vast majority of people who are voting for Kamala Harris are not voting for any policy whatsoever, and they probably should be. Okay, I would say a vast majority are either voting because not Trump or on emotions. Okay, an emotion meaning all possible things, including the women first, black women, blah blah blah, has nothing to do with their policy. And I can tell you, most don't know that. In fact, it's funny because she's been in part of the administration. She's part of the current administration, and that's what they need to figure out. Avocado Stably, it's the last question? No, because you asked two more, but these are the last two. Avocado Stably, when you open your bar where you piss in people's glasses with your magic bladder, what will you call it? I told you I'm not opening that bar, okay? No one needs to see my penis. Thank you, except my wife. And finally, last question. Avocado says, I thought you skipped one, so I repeated the last one. So is this the last real question? It is, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on Friday Q&A on the Morning Night Live. We do this every Friday. Obviously, the questions are not all serious, but some are, but it's fun, more fun when they're not. So there you go. All right, that's it, guys. I got to go. Thanks for joining me this week on the Morning Night Live. I'll be back next week for lots more action, and I hope you join me again. Please, before you go, hit the like button, share the stream, and you can sponsor the show anytime you want. Thank you for our sponsor today. You are great Americans. I got to go. Links will be in the chat and the description. I have got tons of them, even though I didn't get to very many of them. So have a great weekend. My name is P Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.